Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Hello to everyone.
Good, good. See, it says something with the browser. Here we are. Good, good, good. Welcome and thank you for joining. Yes, let's see how many more people join. Yes, you can just say probably meanwhile, yes, where are you coming from the world? That would be quite nice, just to know how wide are we in the world. Now I'm joining from Spain, by the way. That's good, good. From Atlanta, yes. Good time there. Adjectives about the places like Worcester, quite still as boy. Nottingham, guys. More than one. Dallas, yes. Beautiful. I'm from Moldova as well. Yes, you all know that we have the development team in Moldova. It's our secret weapon. If you have been hearing the podcasts and reading the papers. Good, good. All right. So let's see how many people we are. 26. Yes, quite a good number. So yes, what I don't know if you've read anything about me. I have my LinkedIn profiles and everything, but yes, I'm the development manager from Infigo. I have been working like 7.5 years with them, and yes, this is going to be my first workshop that I try to deliver, and probably from now on, I will be trying to demonstrate you all the wonders of the Infigo platforms. I don't usually get that nervous, but 26 people is a good number. So to be afraid a bit. But yes, so thank you all for joining. And yes, I'm also joined by Dennis. Here he is now he also wants to introduce himself a bit. He's going to be in here just helping me with supporting me with my technical details and some more things that they might not be more information that you might want or anything like that. Yes, he can just help me on all those things. But Dennis, can you introduce yourself a bit?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me? Yes, I'm working for Infigo already for almost 6 years. I'm right now the head of technology, so kind of lead the development for the Moldova teams.
Yes, good. So he's the mastermind that is trying to push us all to the next level. And on this tech workshop, we just thought that it was really interesting to explore the topics of single sign-on. So you don't you can configure how can you configure the Infigo platforms to use single sign-ons instead of using the normal user and password that you know that you can always do in the storefronts. So it's something that is an interesting topic because nowadays more and more people they don't want to use the same to have to credentials this everywhere in any of the pages that you are trying to access. And this is quite common on these B2B scenarios because you can have a lot of different users trying to log in into the platform to order different products, but you can control with a centralized place how can you access the store and what are your visibility and access that you can do on the storefront. So we offer some solutions for that in Infigo, and we have some of those are modules that they are included, which is the API. This is our own Infigo API that is available for everybody that has an Infigo storefront. They have access to the API, and we have endpoints to easily generate access tokens or single sign-on URLs for those customers that you want to access. And we also have another module, which is the SAML integration. For SAML integration, I don't know if you know what is the SAML. We will discuss it later, and maybe you have already some SAML on your storefront. But we will explore some of the new settings that we are going to be adding to the storefronts to easy configure this integration. And the third module that we have is the punch out. Okay, a punch out module where we integrate with another party as well, with another e-commerce or any other platform that is allows us to access this Infigo storefront to order the elements, all the products that you want. They can be print, ready to be print. They can be a stock or anything, or design, and then that they get approval in the other procurement system. Okay, so those are the three things that we are going to explore on this workshop, and I hope that you find it interesting. So the order is going to probably be SAML, which is the most common use that we have detected that most modules, most of our customers have the modules. Then we are going to follow it with our own API with this SSO endpoints. And the third point is going to be the punch out flow, exploring how can you configure this in Infigo and how the punch out flow works within the flow. All right. So okay. So for SAML, how many people of you you already are using SAML or you want to use SAML? That is interesting to know because I don't know if there is a lot of people in here interested in this or just about some more updates that they want to have. Okay, yes, so good one. Yes, on no sites and 9 sites. Yes, it's good. So that is quite useful because it's easy when you have a lot of volumes of users on this storefront. Is quite nice because you can control from the identity provider. An identity provider is the server that holds the information about the users. It's not in Infigo, but is held in the identity provider. So that is interesting because with a rotation, for example, of a rotation of employees and everybody, you can just easily control on a single part and a single point who has access to buy products from the store. So you don't have to worry about, okay, I have to go now to the Infigo platform to disable and remove this customer because it's not an employee anymore. Or this customer has changed department, so now doesn't have access to this store. So you have to go to the Infigo platform, you delete it, or you have to do things. However, with a single centralized place where you control who can access what applications, because at the end we configure Infigo in those endpoints as applications, you can control with permissions who can log in into Infigo, right? And that is one of the big powers of SAML. Okay, so let me just probably you have already used this single sign-on. Well, it's not the same as people might think. Oh, okay, don't want to reuse the same user and everything like you have with Google IDs, logging with Google, logging with Facebook, logging with all those things. Those help a lot the account creation, and you still need to delete the accounts in Infigo. But with this SAML, what it essentially means is that you are authorizing the customers on that end before being allowed to log in into Infigo. All right, so let me now just show you just directly with a screen share, my whole screen. So this maybe quickly change so you don't get an infinite. Okay, so this is our site. This is an Infigo site that I have prepared for a demo. Okay, so I'm going to log in as a storefront admin. That is not at the moment. I have removed the user in this one, so I'm just going to access this with the Infigo support user because I've removed all the customers from this storefront, and this is the SAML storefront that I have created. And let me just log in as storefront admin because it's quite nice. You have this storefront administrator. This one I'm going to edit with this storefront administrator. So I'm going to generate a new password. So I'm going to view this password. I'm going to change it so I can log in as a storefront admin just to show you what you can do as a storefront admin now. Haven't I changed this? I don't know what is going on, but let me just do this. Maybe I'm misclicking on the different customers, but anyway, let me impersonate. So this
You are
is
using username, Pablo.
yes, yes. Thanks. You see, that's why I need somebody to tell me what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, yes, I can access this. Okay, so now under system, you are going to have new access to the SAML settings, configuration settings, authentication, and then we have another system which is CAS, but here the SAML settings, and we have redone all this whole window and just be ready for you, so it's easy to configure. We have also added a few more settings to it that I will go into detail then later on. Okay, so the first thing that I want to show you probably is an example of how a SAML login can work. Okay, so for that reason, I have this new mode that we have added that on these settings you can configure if you want to be an auto redirect or to have a button on login. Most of the current storefronts that you have, they are with the auto redirect. So when you have a closed storefront and you try to access the storefront, you are redirected to the login page. That in terms, then the login page, that's a request redirect, an auto redirect to the identity provider to get this confirmation about the customer can access it. But some other customers that they have a lot of usage for storefront admins that they are not probably in the SAML, in the identity providers part or anything. It's simpler that you have the normal Infigo login. So that's why we added this mode, which is a button in login, and I can log out now, and then I will just try to log in, and then, I can just log out now. And then we will see that we have now this button in here. When you access the storefront, that is a closed storefront, you are redirected to the login page, and then in here you have the button to be able to log in. Yes, I enable username. So, okay, so you can just log in with SAML, and what you do is you are redirected to identity provider. This is at the moment all configured with our SAML server in AWS, where you enter a username, the password, and then you also have more two-factor authentication in here. So you are relying the security of accessing the site with this two-factor and everything into this identity provider instead of using any just website that you have in here. So let me add here the code, and then I can sign in. Then I'm redirected back to the store logged in. Okay, so now I'm logged in with this user and I have access to previous orders. On this case, it was no information on this customer. But yes, so it has the user that I use on the other part. I could have just sent also the username, and this is all configurable on the other identity providers part. Okay, so this is the normal flow when you have this. And then when you log out, you can log out, and then you always go back to the login page. And if you are still logged in, it doesn't matter, it will reuse the cookie. So it remembers that you have been already authenticated on the other end, and then you can be constantly logging in because you don't have to validate again the same user login. Okay. So that is for this. So now let me just, as I did, I wanted, it was the,
Yeah, as I know, the button message can be changed with text. So for
yes.
our customer can be login using AWS, login using your own identity provider. So this is the default one.
Okay. It's Pablo.cuelas, it was. Okay, so let's go back to again to the SAML page. Okay, so in the logout mode, most of you have it as known, big unknown, because it really is just for extra security probably. And if you want to only, this is the only login that you have, you force, and if your identity provider allows, you can also be logged out from this. So if the identity provider has an endpoint to log out, you can, whenever you log out from Infigo, you log out as well from the identity provider. But that, as that can be annoying, most of you will have it as none. Okay, and then we have added a new setting, which is this customer identification, that we just try to use simply the normal that is passed in the name ID of the body of the SAML call, and it's automatic, but you can always use an attribute statement just to decide what you want to use. If you want to use login by email or login by username to be able to create all those things. All the mapping settings, this is just to be able to map additional settings, additional properties from the customer into Infigo. And that is clear that I have not shown this, because here with SAML Tracer, let's do it again so we can just view it, and then just we can demonstrate this. Okay, when you are the SAML Tracer, this is an extension for most of the browsers that you can have, and then you can view what it's doing. So for example, the SAML calls that we have done. So I have done a request. This is in time the other way around. So Infigo site has done a request into this destination URL, and this is the SAML request that we have. So here it tells you, okay, I want to try to log in as email, and I am this Infigo, yes, and I send this with a certificate as well, so I can sign. This is all signed and encrypted, and then the response from the server, it tells you, yes, okay, this customer is able, and this is the signed certificate for everything. So you can just use that certificate to the code. And then in here, you are passing the attribute statements. So in your identity provider, most of the identity providers allow to configure what are the attributes that you wanted to send. Okay, and this is quite interesting because then it allows you to not only map a single email address to just a single login, but you are passing information about this customer. Okay, username, email, and whatever you want. So then you are able to do things like mapping different
Yeah, the
properties.
idea is in your
That,
system, you can have a user which will have departments, cost center,
mhm.
different kind of attributes, first name, last name, and you can create here a mapping between these two systems. So whenever a customer will be created in Infigo via SAML, this will automatically get all the information from your identity provider.
Yes, and you can always do all the things that you can use to sync with a customer. This is useful because, for example, you can use departments. If you sync departments, you can add access permissions. If you assign a row list as well, you can add access permissions, or to know which one is the storefront admins and which ones are not the storefront admins. You can sync the address, so the first time that they place an order, everything is already with the address that you want to ship them or anything, and even additional customer attributes to have anything that you want to be like job title, cost center, or you can add any new ones, and you can map them as well to be able to display it in job tickets, to be displayed in my account, to be able to do any of those things. And that is the power of this mapping, as well as this other setting that I have skipped, but is quite important as well, because sometimes people, they just use the system when you cannot allow easily in the identity provider what are the users that are allowed to use this application or not, you can just always create the customers in advance, and only those customers that are created in here can log in. So if you disable this setting, only the customers that are in the customers list are the ones that are able. And if you are not on this list, you are not able to log in if this setting is not enabled. This was requested for some scenarios of identity providers that they don't allow this. And then how do you configure this? After speaking with support to enable this module for you, you can just easily set up a name for this service provider. This we will be taking the URL from your storefront, from the general settings. That I don't know. I think you all have used this a lot. So from general settings, we use this for everything. And then you have an access to the metadata. Okay, what is the metadata? The metadata is the contract, and it explains to the identity provider when you are trying to add an application and you are trying to say, okay, this is the application that I'm going to allow customers to log in, and then you can assign to that application users, and then you can do permissions and different mapping of the attributes and everything. You have to enter this metadata, because this metadata is the one that contains links to the logins. It tells what is the login page, the login, the logout, the certificate that's going to be using, all those different things, what it requires. So I require the emails and probably usernames as well to be able to send on the name ID. So once you have that, it can be in two formats that do identity providers. Some identity providers need to have the metadata XML. Some others need to just have a link. So that's why we offer as well the link. So it's easy to copy it into your identity provider. And from here as well, you can always extract the different ideas about the entity ID and whatever. This is auto-generated according to just this and settings that you have on your storefront, like these general settings. Okay, and this is the SAML part, and what the Infigo part that you configure this, and then you have access to what is an application on your end. Okay, and then we go into the identity provider configuration. Now Infigo needs to know where he's going to redirect all these requests. Okay, so for that, we also need the metadata from the identity provider. So when you create an application on the other end, you add these details. You also get a URL for the metadata. Okay, so this is a new feature that we have added as well, which is the metadata link, or we allow a link or paste it directly in here as XML. But this is a new feature that we have added, the metadata link. And this is a big improvement that we had on the previous system, because at the moment when you are trying to update, if you are going to be using a new certificate on the other endpoint, and you want to have this in the highest security level about validating the trust chain and signature check and everything, all those different things that you can configure in the identity provider, the certificate that is in here, it has to be a valid one. It has to be a trusted one as well. And that's why we use now with the metadata link. That is a live update. When you are trying to log in, we get the metadata live from this endpoint. So whatever change you do on your end on the certificates, it will be reflected immediately, and you don't need to synchronize with Infigo or with the Infigo part to update the metadata link with a new metadata link after you update your certificate. Okay, so that is basically SAML. Do you have any questions or scenarios that you want to run through? Greg is typing. Yes. So the aim of all this redone and everything is just try to cover all these scenarios, and with additional of settings and everything, it's just to try to help you on this part, because now most of the time there has been tickets raised all the time. How do I configure this? This is my metadata, and they don't know what is really our metadata and what is and everything for this. So this new page tries to simplify all that process so you can synchronize both endpoints. So having SAML tracer and is more than enough. And then once you have the identity providers details and Infigo details, it's so easy to configure. And Greg, yes, I think the customer should be able to do this by themselves. Um, that's it. So Michael, yes, interested in SAML for 4 sites. Yes, good. So you can just use this. One of the caveats that we have at the moment with SAML is that you have to be full bindings. You have to have a full domain for it to work. So only with subdomains or anything can work. It doesn't work with storefronts that are path-based. So that is the only yes. But as soon as you have those 4 sites with its own custom binding or subdomain, it's possible to do that. Yes, okay, so this new configuration, it will be in next releases. It's, as you could see, it's working and everything. We are just finalizing the development of this and try to push it. So it will be by the end, less than a month. The next release or next 2 releases, it will be there and everything. Yes, and Jonathan is asking about impersonating. Yes, I was doing the impersonation at this point because I wanted to show you because of the super admin roles that we use as a support. We have a special role where we can just view more details about the SAML configuration, probably with some too much detail, and I don't want to confuse you. So that's why all this view is adapted for storefront admins. That is going, what I have shown you is the one that is going to be visible for storefront admins. So that was it. So, okay, let's move to the next topic, and is the single sign-on call. Okay, so on the API call. I don't know, let me just throw in a small poll. Yes, I just really want to know how many of you have ever used the Infigo API. Yes, so our API, it's a really interesting piece. We are just always adding new endpoints and trying to add the missing bits that we are doing because yes, it's a complex part that we have to keep on adding validations because at the end, what you try to do with the API is almost like whatever you can do in admin and even more. So you can just completely break the site easily with full API, automated API calls. And that's one of the problems of the automations is that the automations can be really good. So when you start using the APIs and you can start doing requests every second or something to update the stocks or to update a product or something, yes, that can break the systems and things like that. So we are trying to always do the changes to the APIs with a lot of love and care. So in case you have already a working setup with these API endpoints, we don't break those. But yes, let me now show you a bit. Okay, no, somebody's more typing. Yes, it's good. It's okay-ish. Brian, yes, that's it does the job quite well. And one of the jobs that it can do is this one to help you on creating your own single sign-on. So you don't really need to have an identity provider for everything, but you can just use your own methods of normal Windows authentication or something with a normal website on IIS that only when you access it, you can click those buttons and a single website allows you to log in into here or something. You can just use whatever you want on your end to then call the API. Okay, so let me share the screen again. Okay, so let me go back again to this site that we have. So I can just create in here, we have the services / API, which is the endpoint that we have for all the API documentation. So I don't know if you knew about this, but this is the quick access to all the sites. So we can just set directly what is the base API. And we did a big overhaul of all this. So now you can even do live requests in here. So we even added, it takes an API key. An API key can be created by a platform admin on your storefront. And then once you have that ID, you can just have, so let me, for example, let's try to retrieve all print locations. So yes, you can see, you can get directly from here to get me all the print locations on this storefront. And then this is the response. And it tells you here the different calls, so you can just copy and paste them if you want to use on your Postman or anything. If you have never used Postman as well, it's quite a good tool for API testing, and even you can use it to do mini applications or anything. If you are just good with that, you can use the Postman to be able to call the different endpoints that we have in here with variables and taking CSV examples and everything. So that opens a lot of walls about to being able to create products, update products, change the artwork for products, new images for the products, different things that has been added throughout the time, or because customer requested it to streamline their process better, and it helps them a lot. And they are all available for all of you. And in the one that we are going to be focusing now is on this one, on the if you want to know more about the API, you can just go back and check the videos that they are recorded on the API. So in case you have not used it. Okay, so we are going to be focusing on this one, the get SSO URL, and that one is as simple as it is. You get an ID, and then you get a token to log in. Okay, for that, I can show you. I want to show you a small page that we have built to be able to test those endpoints in case you want to test it, and just to demo how are they. So using the same storefront and the API token, I can just easily send, okay, for this customer, I just want to log in. So this page, what it does automatically, it does a request to that endpoint with the username that you want in here on the ID, the token and everything. And in the response, you have this property, which is the login URL that you can build yourself with taking into account your platform URL, and then you are directly logged in this account. Okay, we have done automatically to be the open for you, but yes, you can just do it, and then you are logged in. Okay, and this customer, you could have done another API in advance before to create the customer if you want. You could have done a create a customer, or you could have just deleted you could have updated the customer with some details, with some more details. And this, for example, is similar to the other end for Samuel, that you are just sharing the information about the different full name, titles, customs, date of birth, or anything. But instead of doing it through SAML, you use the API to create the customer before, or change the active flag of a customer with the API because it's not active anymore. And then you are trying to get with the login link. So if a customer is not active, the login link, when he tries to use it, it will tell you, yes, the customer is not active, you cannot access this site. But it will be quite nice that you can have all these details in here as well when you are doing another post API to update customers. And the other end call is just for the login. So that opens a lot for your integrations. Okay, any questions on the API? Because it's as simple as that. Really, I cannot say that much more things because it's super simple. Michael is writing. Yes, well, the creation of customers, you can do this in Infigo if you want, or you can do this with the API, whatever you want. You can just, if you create the customers in advance from Infigo customer management, you can import all the customers there, and then you only do the SSO call to get a login for that customer. And yes, as simple as that. Yes. And even if you want, you can use Postman, like I said, to create a mini app where it just creates the customers with the API or updates the customers with the API. Yes, maybe. Yes, there are just that is the power of the customers creation that we offer on the API. All right. Okay. So again, as I said before, we have a full workshop on the API, and it opens a lot of questions. Definitely, if you start exploring the API, you can see a lot of potential on integrations and a lot of potential on automation more that you want to use it for the customers management and even also the products management as well.
Yeah, also, they know to this question to create customer upfront. So this is optional. This makes sense only if you want to create customer to provide some details like first name, last name, departments, customer roles, and so on. If you need just a simple registered user, you can just call this SSO URL endpoint, and this will automatically on the hood create the customer for you. So the create customer step is optional. Only if you want to provide more details, except the email or except the username.
Yes, cool. Good point. Yes, Dennis, because that is the simplicity of this endpoint. That is like similarly to the SAML endpoint. Whenever you request it into here, yes, we log you in. Whatever you request into this login, we log you in always. And we create a customer for that. And if it's already an existing customer, we use it. So you can just create the users in advance if you want, place orders for them or anything like that. And whatever you have in your current system, now you throw it into the mix SAML, or you throw into the mix this API SAML, and customers will be linked correctly if you want, and they have access to their previous orders and everything. You are not creating new customers. This is just a way to log in. And if you don't have the customer, it's created, but if the customer is already there, it's used to log in.
Yeah, so this means you can still use the default feature from Infigo to import customer via CSV, which is not exposed via API right now, to import all the customer with addresses, with everything, and then just call the endpoint to generate the login URL.
Yeah. Some people writing before we move to the next and final topic, which is punch out. Okay, so for regarding punch out, does anyone of you have your storefront configured with punch out, or do you know what punch out? Well, punch out for people that doesn't know what is it is really is used mostly on the B2B commerce, and it allows you to access on these catalogs. It allows you to use the catalog for the supplier directly from the system. So most of the common scenarios for punch out, you have a storefront, a system, or SAP or something that you are trying to call this endpoint to buy things. Okay, so you have a collection of different suppliers for different elements, and then what you can do is you log in into this one. So I want to log in into this Infigo storefront. You buy everything, you add to the cart, you design whatever you need. And what it does, it goes back to this system. So maybe as the best way that I can have to show you this, it's to share you the screen that we have. We have on all this, which is the Connect Punch Out Help Desk article that we have to explain a bit. So using this XML with the specific format, which is on the CXML organization, there is a specification about what is this CXML format has to be. By using this, you are doing all these interactions between the procurement system and Infigo. And we added it to this tech workshop because one of the things that it does, the first thing that it does is the setup request. Okay, so what you do with the setup request, similarly to the single sign-on, okay, this customer wants to buy things from this storefront, so it's logged in. Okay, we respond back with, okay, this is the login link. So then, and the details about this customer. So then the procurement systems opens Infigo Auto Logged In. You place the order, and then the next step is just send back the order to the punch out system with a callback URL. We will see that back later. This, when you are trying to log in, you are passing it already what is the callback URL after you place the order. And then the order is marked as unpaid. It uses punch out integration to not place the orders as paid, but just to mark it as unpaid, because the power of punch out is that it has an approval system for the orders. So you approve the order on this endpoint, and once you have approved the order, you have a PO number. So then you update the order in Infigo with PO number and mark as paid, then triggering the rest of the flows that Infigo has when an order is paid. If you have any MIS communication, it will be triggered at that point before we trigger punch out at this point, and then after the order is paid, we trigger the rest of Infigo communications. Okay, so you can throw in whatever you want, but this is just a way in the middle to from unpaid to paid. What is that on the other end? Okay, and for that we have also prepared another storefront, another page to be able to demo it, which is this one, the punch out. Okay, so let me also log in here and switch the storefront to the storefront that I have already configured for punch out. To show you a few things. So I have enabled on this storefront punch out and connect flow as well, okay? Because I want to show you that final part on the calling the third-party MISs. Okay, so this is the punch out configuration that we have. It's a bit simple actually, because it's only a matter of just saying what is a shared secret word in here, and then configuring what are going to be the string secs in punch out and similarly to the IDP and the ones that you can have in here. You can just, if you want to add more attributes, you can always use an standard, and then we apply, and then we allow you to map as many strings as you want. But as mostly this is for placing the order and getting the outputs, most of the people doesn't have a full really integration with the details about address. So it only logs the customer in and the department, probably or roles to limit what you can access with access permissions, and apart than that. So then there is just some more configuration about the domains and identities. This is just on the XML, on the CXML specification that you need to do all these things, and ways to detect what is the order and what is the job ID, that this has to match whatever is on the other end. Okay, so then here, as usually in all the Connect plugins, we have the webhook links. So on this one, on the punch out that we have is in here, the one that I have configured in here. So the first call that we have is the setup. Okay, and for the callback, as I don't have a proper punch out procurement system, we are going to just be using probably this B interceptor, which is just a simple way to get webhooks. So we can just create this. So I have copied this, have created some rules in here to be able to receive connections, so I can demonstrate all this. So in here you configure it in the same way, print shop whatever, and then say, okay, this is the customer that I want, and with a username and the full name and this department. And then when you are just clicking on the setup request, we do it similarly to the other, where we can explore here as well what is the request XML. So we build a Infigo plugin, creates this is just created on your end. This, the punch out system will create this XML that is sent to this setup webhook. It will tell here's some more information about, yes, the user email, unique display name, department name, and this browser form callback URL. Okay, so we respond, the Infigo system responds with, this is the URL that you have to use to log in with the auto login link. Okay, and it has a token that expires after a while, and so that's why it's used as system for that. Okay, so once you are logged in here, you can use the system as normally you would do. You can just, for example, let's order some static PDF product. I think, for example, yes, this one with the CXML documentation. Yes, you can just easily check out. I have configured the storefront to streamline this process a little bit more. I could have just removed the prices or anything that I needed. Oh, sorry, yes, it's because this one is delivery product, but let me just then add a pencil. Add to cart or something. Can't delete this. Okay, let's check out this. Okay, and then you got in the confirm order, so it's faster. So we can demo it so we don't have that much time. Okay, and once you do that, it calls this callback endpoint with all the data about this order. Okay, so that's why in here, yes, this is the B interceptor, we are getting a notification with the CXML encoded that is expected to receive the order procurement system. Okay, what happens now is that we have placed an order in Infigo. Okay, so I can just connect into here. This is the admin part. Okay, so let's go to the customers. We can just see this customer that has logged in, that it was the pablo.gmail. Let's see the edit. And in the orders, I can see that the latest order that has been placed is this one with the payment status pending. Okay, you can see that here is the payment status pending. Okay, and then in the extra data, yes, we don't have any other communications. This is only about the punch out integration. And now this other part that we have in here, we can just know that the order ID, the other system knows that the order ID is this ID. So then let's set this order ID so I can just update the status of this. Okay, so I can just say, okay, this webhook is the other webhook that we have in here, the other webhook, which is the update webhook. The other system, procurement system, calls this update endpoint with the share secret, the order ID, and we can just enter any PO number that we want. That is the system that we want, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the email that the customer that placed this, and then you send the order status, and this is the request, and we get the response from Infigo site response with this. Okay, it's a successful. We have all these payloads and everything, and then we can just see into these order details. If I just refresh it, I can just see that now the order is paid and I have this PO number. And what happens now is that as I have in the connect flow configure a post to API, another interceptor on this endpoint, we can just see that if I go to the other B interceptor, okay, this is the last one, the order place. Okay, so then is here when I get the notification about the order place with the standard XML that Infigo creates. Okay, so and this one is just, I can just, this is the normal one in case you have not seen it, but yes, it has the order details with the UID. You have access to the job tickets, and if it's attributes as well of the product that you had, unit prices and values that you want, invoice URLs, packaging slips. If it's a static PDF or a design product, it also contains here links to the assets. If you have used the connect flow, you will know what it is. Okay, so here explains on the Zendesk article. It explains a bit more what is this about all this punch out. But yes, so any questions on punch out? Okay, I have seen. Okay, good that somebody's Dennis is answering me while I'm presenting. That is good. Good. Yes, the reward points history. Yes, we don't, because at the end, reward points is you want to add or to remove or to set what is the new balance or things like that. That is at the moment that is not supported directly through SAML, but we are open. Just if it just really fits your needs or something, we might always have a place. Good. Any questions on punch out? Does it fit your needs? You can always throw in on this when you are using punch out modules. By at the end, as is a way to pay the orders, you can always throw in anything that you want from Infigo. You can throw in if you want approval. You can throw in blocker status to call MISs. Yes, so you can just have the order approval with the costs in Punchout, for example, and then the design approval in Infigo. So things like that that can work, and all those things is a way just to pay the orders. Any questions on Punchout? Nothing? Anybody interested in it, knowing more? Nothing. Good, good. Okay, so now, perfect, 10 minutes. Questions, more questions, more general questions about this. Did you like the presentation? What do you think we need a little bit more of? Do you want to cover any topic on customers or on API for future tech workshops? Ah, yes, I will send you some Iberian ham. Yes. Are you from Oldham or from, where are you? Maybe you want Serrano ham. Good, good. So yes, I'm happy that you like it. How Infigo API can work with webhook, with Infigo webhooks, or what with? Have you used the Infigo webhooks? That's another topic that maybe is interested in Infigo webhooks. Yeah, so maybe yes, Dennis, you actually it will be nice that you explain something else if you want.
Yeah, sure. So the idea of Infigo API is just a matter you want to update some data in Infigo, you want to retrieve some data. The Infigo webhook is a different model which will allow you to get some notifications, some requests when something is happening in Infigo. For example, you can create a webhook when a order is created in Infigo, notify this endpoint with all the authorization headers. Do you want JSON or XML format? We had a tech workshop previously on this, so I think there should be a recording related to this. But in a way, you can attach to different events in Infigo. Like even if a customer is created in Infigo, notify external system, or a order was paid, or any other type of events. Or maybe when a product stock quantity was updated, because what you want, you can achieve, you can have your own stock management system, and then to say when a order is created in
Yes, when an order, I think, let me follow, I think Dennis dropped. But yes, so you can just add, oh, Dennis, back. Yes, so with the webhooks, you can just synchronize whatever you want from Infigo and your system. Yes, because maybe you can have this middleware in the middle. So you have the communications from the Infigo API to update Infigo, and from Infigo into the webhooks to your third party. So potentially you can just close the circle with another system about syncing stock locations, or you want to just think, okay, so now I have placed an order of this. So then you know that this you have to reduce the stock from this other endpoint. So then you can potentially update the order with an API to add a node to say, okay, take the stock from this location or whatever. So you can just be trying to close different points about, like you said, reward points. So a customer is updated, a customer has placed an order. Okay, so the reward points are reducing here. So I can just say, okay, the new amount of reward points is lower than 100 email, 100 or something. So then your system can do anything that you want. So maybe yes, he can request to add more, or you can call the API to update the reward points, or you can just send an email to the customer to add reward points. Yes, you can close the cycle by using the Infigo API in and the webhooks out. That is the idea that we are trying to make you achieve. Potentially, you can even simulate this punch out with Infigo webhooks. You can just say, okay, you place the order, then your system marks the order as unpaid with the API, and then the order is unpaid until the other system says that the order is paid, and then you pay the order. And then, yes, you can simulate all those things because you have the two-way communications now with Infigo webhooks and the API.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we implemented webhooks is basically if you don't have webhooks, you need to use pooling system. So you need to pull always in Figo, like get me the order details, was the order updated, yes or no. With webhooks, you can say whenever this change in Figo, notify external system. So you don't need to pull in Figo API hundreds of times per hour just to check the order status, for example, or customer details or reward history
For the
or
stock
stock
levels.
quantity. Yeah. So this means Infigo will automatically notify your system when something is happening. I just shared the Work Tech Shop resource link in chat,
For the
where
API
basically
and
we
webhooks.
had, yeah, where we showed like how to set up API and how to set up webhooks and how to use this.
Good. I'm really happy that for all that you joined at the end, really good numbers. So thank you all for joining. And any more questions, or thanks a lot for coming. Okay. And if you want to speak with me, you can always ask support. Okay, can I have a chat with Pablo, because he was a nice guy, and I want to speak again with him to explain me a bit more. No, yes. So I'm in here in Infigo, so you can you know me, because probably most of you didn't know that my face or who I was. If you listen my name, now you know me. All right, good. So how do I? Oh, Jonathan is writing. Another one that wants more Spanish ham.
And also the pages which was shown during the meeting are related to the demo SSO page, and the other with punch out will follow up this in email later.
Yeah, that is. We are just now trying to build all these demo pages for you to be able to test this in advance. So you can just always play, and when you are trying to get in one of those modules for punch out or something, you can just try it yourself before trying to have to use the system on the other end to configure it or something. So maybe yes, you can always try that. And we are polishing it still a bit, so you can just get access to the full flow directly on the website, and they will be shared on the links and the helpless articles and everything, so you can just use those. And the SAML, yes, as it was requested, is going to be soon, really. So we are just finishing the finishing touches for it. Yes, the previous recordings, are they all in the YouTube channel? I think, Dennis. In Figo Academy, yes, in the Figo Academy. But yes, but if you access your LMS, I think is the yes, I cannot. Greg, can you guide them into logging into their account so they can just view all those? They are just pretty much well. Yes, they will be sent that to all the attendees as well, just in case you want to log in and view all those things. So maybe all this content, it will be in the Invigo platform as well, where you can log in and see it. Okay, so thank you all. Yes, nothing else. I just want to match the times so everybody can go. Thanks a lot for attending. Oh yes, good, Sam. Yeah. Yes, you have the link for the Infigo Academy. That's fantastic. Yes, that one is a better organized page that just have to browse through all the YouTube videos or list or anything. So please use that, which is quite more useful. Okay. All right. Thanks you all for joining, and I hope to see you on the next one. We will inform you on the next topics that we are just thinking. And yes, I hope that you join again and we continue together on the tech workshops. All right. Thanks a lot. Bye
Thank you.
bye.